One that sticks in my mind from the beginning was winning Barcelona when I won the Barcelona Grand Prix, which was for Formula 2. And I was on pole position in our old Brabham, the Wheatcroft Brabham, the orange car, which is still around with my name on, which the guy in London, the gentleman has in London. And that was it was just fantastic. We led every lap of the race, got the lap record nearly. I've got all the records. Nearly every lap I got the fastest lap. And Fittipaldi came second, and Francois Sever was third, and Pescarolo was fourth, and John Watson was fifth, and that sort of thing. And I beat the best in that class of racing of the young up and comers. All right, I had spent 2 years at Ferrari, but it was rather a grovel around at Ferrari in F2 and F1, and I don't think I was ready for Ferrari at that time, because I'd only been racing 4 years or 3.5 years when I went there. I would never have not gone there, but I like to have had a couple more years probably in F2 and then gone to Formula 1, because I think I'd have done better, I'd have known more. But I think that race to me, it was sensational. Was from my point of view, it was just because you're on your own. When you do it all, be it with Jackie Hicks or Mike Hailwood or Stefan Beloff, you're always with another guy. Not that I was unhappy to share it, because I spent the whole of my life with another driver, thank God, because they were the ones that were quick and I just tootle around. But it was driving on your own in single-seaters, and to win single-seater races was special in those days, because you really were making a mark. And then, fortunately, I went on to sports cars at the same time, and of course ended up driving for wonderful teams, for Ferrari and Porsche and Alfa Romeo and so on and so forth, with the world's greatest drivers. But I think the most memorable race I'll ever have in my life was finishing third at Le Mans with Justin. I finished third with my son Justin on Father's Day, and with Andy Wallace. Thank goodness for Andy Wallace. But it was a father and son thing. Unfortunately, rather pushed him to one side in the actual report. But Andy, of course, is a brilliant driver. But to finish third with your son and having led it for 16 or 15 hours was spectacular, really.
No, I thought you might mention that.
Yeah, it had to be, didn't it? Really.
Just want to ask you a little bit more about the Barcelona race, because
yes,
it's not one that I'm just so familiar with. So when was that? And was it one of these races where you were sort of in a fight the whole time, or was one of the reasons?
I was just ahead. Sorry. Yeah. So start again. The race.
Just talk me through the weekend, basically.
We went around Europe. It were the great days when there weren't 15 different types of championship. If you want to be good, you had to be the top in Formula 3 cars, racing with Cosworth or Holbeis or Matra engines or whatever it was. And the series. There was a series a bit in Japan, of course Japan I'm sure, but there was a sort of a Northern Europe series which was up in Scandinavia, and then there was a Southern Europe series that took in all of us in this part, and then down through France, Spain, Italy, Germany, and we were sort of, to me it was just like tennis. I see the tennis guys, they do different tournaments, but they go in on the majors, and that one was Monaco, one was the Silverstone race, another one would be, let's say, Clermont-Ferrand, another one would be Barcelona, and then it came up to Formula 2. Well, of course, there were less competitors around the world, so naturally we got together more often, more as a group, the whole lot, and there were factory teams in it. It was the one chance that me, as an up-and-coming supposedly driver, had the chance to race against my heroes. So I'd be in a Brabham, racing at Thruxton in my first race, sitting next to Jackie Stewart on the grid, and I'm going, should I be here, and I didn't expect to beat him, but it's funny, I didn't have this thing, I've got to get out there and blow the doors off. I was very content to finish second or third to Jackie, and I probably couldn't have beaten him anyway. But, the fact was, it was an honour to be there, and you were out there to learn. And of course it was great, because the teams could then just see how good you were, and that's why after 3 races, I went to Ferrari, because they saw that I was featuring quite well. And at the time I didn't think I was doing particularly well, because I wasn't winning, but I suppose on reflection I wasn't doing too shabbily. And I had the call from Ferrari, had the call from Coopers to drive Formula 1 and Formula 2. So that was it then. But really, as far as Barcelona was concerned, it was a major race of the year. And of course it was on a classic track around the park, Montjuich Park. And we'd all
good lineup of drivers you're up against.
That's right. Yeah. If you saw the grid, there was everybody except for, Graham Hill wasn't in it, but basically, Graham was much around. I think he was still in Formula 1 then. But everybody who was anybody on the way up was in it. French guys, German guys. You should see the grid. It's incredible. It should be in one of your magazines.
I will go and look it up. What year was it? Which year was it?
It's 1970, and I think it was like April, May. And it was just one of those events that I got it all together. And it was. I've always liked demanding circuits that you can't take over. You'd hit fences if you overdid it. So for me, I was sort of drifting up to guardrails and just sliding along. It was, with that sort of precision I enjoyed, and I don't think I was particularly precision, but it wasn't the places that like let's say Clay Regazzoni, who just threw everything at the wall and hoped it got round, and if it didn't, he crashed, dug it out and carried on. But you didn't do that on a street circuit, rather like Monaco or Barcelona or several of them. And so that's the reason I think I particularly liked it.
And did you say you led from start to finish? So was it a pole lead?
Yeah, pole lead, gone off, but I didn't disappear, but I certainly led everybody. I mean, I don't know how far I was ahead of them. I've got the picture, or somewhere, I've seen it. I guess it's your magazine in one of my scrapbooks that I couldn't find the other day. And it shows me finishing, going across the line, and behind me was Emerson, about 100 yards behind. So, 100 yards isn't much, really. But it was a fair old battle. It was a lot 100-mile race.
Yeah, the races were
120 miles. Oh, yeah. It was just great. It was, and you felt you'd achieved something, and you stood up there. And of course, for young up-and-coming drivers to stand up there with the mayor or the prince of Barcelona or whatever it was, rather like Monaco, they did it in the same style. You walked up and received your honours from up on the podium, and walked down the other side. It was fabulous, And for us as a little team from Pagam, it was to go and beat the might of lots of the factory teams that always turned up with a car or two for people, which weren't totally factory efforts, but they were certainly run by the factories, sort of one of their arms. So Barcelona was special in that respect.